Hi, Sharon Downey here with another 2-minute tips, although this week it's a little bit longer. My sister is going to demonstrate for us how she currently does her makeup after learning a few tricks from her older and wiser sister.
So here we are with little sis Penny McLean, and she's a former student. And I thought I'd show you how, after she's practiced a lot of the tips and tricks we've talked about, how her getting ready for her day at work goes. So what have you done so far, Penny? You were telling me about using a toner on your face now?
Well, the reason I use the toner is after I've washed my face, before I put on my moisturizer, sometimes my face dries out by the time I get ready to do that. So it just moistens my face a bit, keeps the moisture in. And I now use a tinted moisturizer. And the reason I do is I find that not only does it keep my face moisturized, it doesn't sit on top of my skin. It's a moisturizer.
Yeah. So ladies, whether you're using a tinted moisturizer or a moisturizer, it's, you know.
I like it. It's a good product. And
people will ask you what it is.
it helps to keep, it helps to make my complexion a little, what would you call it? Keeps my palette clear.
Keeps your skin looking.
And it works very nicely with the Barelle.
And you've been using the Eye Envy for your lashes, correct?
Yes.
And you're very happy with it, and it's yeah. Now you gifted me with that, and I've been using it as instructed, but I still have 2 bald patches on my lash line, and one on each lash too. And I really think the older that we get, things stop developing or working quite like they did when we were younger. So I think that because you're 10 years younger, you will get more out of the Eye Envy perhaps than I will. At least that's my assessment at this point, and I'm sticking to it until something changes my mind.
Well, I did have a bald patch, and it has filled in.
Oh, that's great
So,
then. Oh, that's great. So
I'm
it's working very well for you. And what are you applying now? The dual finish powder?
Dual finish powder, number 42.
42, yes. Now, for those that are asking, I use 31 because I'm a bit slightly pink undertone, and I'm neutral to pink, and Penny's neutral to warm. Now, I could go either way too. You know, they are truly more neutral than they are warm or cool.
And our skin color is different because
You've got some Indian.
you're
in
a
your
sister.
background.
You're a sister from a different mister.
Yeah, we're sticking to that story, right?
So.
Not really, but we're not.
And
sure.
I use a sponge applicator.
Sure.
Dry. I don't use a brush.
Yeah.
And when I'm done all that, then as instructed,
Yes.
because God forbid I vary from that, I'll tell you, she films it and then critiques me. I use number 40 to do my eyes and that triangle area.
Yeah.
And the reason I like this mirror the way it is because I can flip it back and forth. So I can see the big version and do it,
Yeah.
and then flip it and check, did I
Okay.
do it right?
Yeah.
So that's why I stick with that.
Yeah.
And then so that I don't make too many big mistakes, I use a brush just for my eyes.
Yeah. Just
And I
make sure.
find that if I do that, then my eyeshadow stays on better.
Yes. We should try and find a before picture somewhere.
You don't want to see a before picture. Now, what you girls should be doing is sending Sharon private messages to tell her how important it is that she should put my makeup on for me every day. That would make my life a lot easier.
Yeah. It would me too.
And then, like you said, C shape.
Yeah.
And I find sometimes, because I travel a lot, different lighting is problematic. So what you think looks good in one light doesn't look in another. And like I was saying to Sharon yesterday, the beauty of having a technique that you can just count on is that you can go through the right motions and know it's going to be okay.
No matter what mirror or lighting you
So
have.
don't try to adjust, oh, this looks a little light, I'll put on more. Just keep with the regime. So I have my blush,
And your foundation and
my
your
foundation, and my highlighter. And then from there, one swipe of eyeshadow.
highlighter. Penny was our model for the hooded eye approach.
Because I'm a hood rat.
And what color is that you're using? Kind of like a Coquette, it looks like to me.
I don't know, it's one you gave me. All I know is when it runs out, I'm in trouble. But, and so I just do the, like one swipe in the pen and do pretty much my whole eye. And blend and blend and blend.
Yes. You've been a good student so far.
Okay, now comes the complicated stuff, or maybe not so.
And let's see your palette. Yes. Isn't it the best?
It absolutely is. Now, Sharon doesn't know this, but I use her dining room table to put my little drop of sealant down. Don't tell her.
Because it's a glass table,
It's
so
a glass
it doesn't
table,
matter.
yeah. And I use black with a flat angled brush that's a little on the soft side. And I make it pretty liquidy. Now watch, I'm gonna goof this up today, right? And I do my eyeliner.
And you get right close to the lashes, right?
Right in there.
Right in there, move right inside, yeah. And with the hooded eye approach, your lash line is more important than it is for a deep set eye. Because that's the only place you're going to get strength from your eye, because your eyelid will be sitting down very close to your lash line or on top of it in some cases. So you want to make that nice and strong, which you do.
So I've got the top done, and then I keep this pretty liquidy because then I don't get pulling lines or crepiness. And then I do the under eye and I really push it up.
So you use it like for the waterline,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah. This is the same brush, same products. One's, just on the top and the bottom side. That cuts time down. Having to drop tools, pick up a different tool and a different thing.
And less to wash.
Yes. And the eyeliner sealant really does seal well, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and there's tricks with it.
Now I'll put links to the eyeliner sealant of my favorite one is Cinema Secrets. What are you using, Penny? Did you get it from Sephora?
Got it from you.
Got it from me. Okay, it would be then Cinema Secrets. We're doing this in real time, ladies.
I thought you were going to edit out all my goofy comments.
We'll see. And you're doing a seminar today on mental health, right?
Yes.
Mental health first aid, actually.
And I teach straight for 7 hours, and I don't get breaks.
Yeah. And so this makeup needs to last you, well, for 8 or 9 hours, right?
Absolutely. It has to. Now, when I'm doing my under eye,
Yeah.
I also put a little bit right on my eyelashes to lift them up.
Yeah.
And don't make the mistake I do occasionally. I get too close to my waterline. And you don't have to do that. You just have to.
Just on the very underside of the lashes.
And then I can tell when I look in the mirror that I can't see any white,
Good, yeah.
but it doesn't go right to my eyeball.
Yeah. And that's where a good brush makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Oh gosh, yeah. There's no question. That's that baby done with. Then I take a little bit with a smaller brush, a little bit more of eyeshadow, I just get in there a little bit more and a little bit out to the side.
Yeah. Because, yeah.
Not a lot, but sometimes in here it's a little whiter. With my eyes, doesn't look so great.
I hear you. Yeah.
So there's that. If I was just going out for the day and not teaching, I could end it there and say it's okay. Eyebrows. Okay, so this is where I use a tiny little dome brush. I use a tiny bit of sealant, and I use a dark brown. I've tried all different colors, but the trick here is to wet it a little bit, but not have it really watery.
Right.
Otherwise, it'll go on too dark and too strong.
Gotcha. You've been a good student, my dear.
And gone are the days of credit cards and
Lines and guidelines
and all that kind of stuff. I don't need to do that anymore.
No, they were good in the beginning to help keep you guided, right?
Or to help me pluck my eyebrows. I would draw it on very strongly and then
take away what didn't belong. Yeah, exactly. But now that you've been doing it for some time, you know just by rote where to go.
Yeah.
And so that has cut down in your time.
Oh, absolutely. And switching up the color a little bit, and taking the reddish tones out.
Yes.
I'm happy with that. And then, so that's that brow done, not too dark. And then what I do is I do have a pencil just to do that fine little correcting.
And the pencil mixed with the powder
Helps it stay.
helps it stay longer, yeah. Pencil by itself, ladies, just as a reminder, it's a wax-based and it will melt in very humid weather, whereas powders won't. And because Penny has used the dual powder over top of her eyebrows, it also acts as a support, a sealant.
And Lord, can I tell you the times when I've just done one thing by itself, and then I look at my eyebrow halfway through the day, and it's got polka dots on it or different things going on, and it's embarrassing. It is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And I've gotten over that thing of that my eyebrows have to be identical.
Yes.
Because I can't do that. I can only do my best. My goal is not to scare myself or others.
Yeah, you don't want to look like an AI, although sometimes you could be mistaken for that because it's perfection is perfection. But I hear you. It's but the goal too, ladies, is not to try to get them to look symmetrical. Penny's worked on this for not a long time, but she's worked at it diligently and practiced and honed. And so now she's at that stage where if it's slightly different, it doesn't matter.
And I can correct with the pencil.
Yeah.
See, that's just a little bit too heavy.
I'm going to try to get a little closer here.
And there's that little spoolie on the end that I can use if it's looking a little dark and it's not looking exactly the way I want, so I can go in and correct. Good enough for the girls I date. If anybody gets any close enough to look at flaws, they're too close to me, right?
Yes.
And then I can say, back up, you're way too close.
Yeah.
It's the advantage of losing your eyesight, right?
Yes.
And so that's that done. Now I'm going to do my underlash, which I use the same brush for my eyebrows in the same color.
Okay.
Because the black is a little too
No,
dark.
your underliner should always be a couple of shades lighter than your upper liner anyway. And well blended.
And that's why having just a little bit of sealant on the bottom can keep it lighter. Look at me with my mouth open. It works better if your mouth's open, right?
The last few videos I've done, I keep meaning to say that when you're putting on mascara or you're doing certain eye things, when you open your mouth, somehow it just goes on better. And it's a universal thing we all do.
Well, it's like when you're trying to fix something, sometimes it works if you stick your tongue out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Kids know that.
Yes. So, mascara.
Uh-huh.
I do that next and last. And I use this, I don't know, you can explain it. It's the one with the black primer and the mascara that goes over top.
Is it L'Oreal?
L'Oreal, yeah.
Yeah, infallible, I think.
And just a hint, what I do, because one side's primer, one side's mascara.
Yeah.
And I can't see without my glasses.
Yeah.
So I put a little bit of tape on the primer.
Yeah.
So that I can pick it up without even looking at it. I know that's the side. And I do the same with my brushes. One's got tape on it, that's for eyeshadow. One doesn't, that's for base.
Right.
Just
All kinds of
makes it faster for me.
Organizing tricks, yes.
But what I found is when I go to a party, I don't have to do anything different, to be honest.
Yes.
I just might darken up
Your lipstick.
and maybe a little bit, a little bit slightly darker eyeshadow.
Yeah.
In the sides.
Yeah. So this is the black primer, which I think is a smart idea as compared to using white primer.
Yeah.
Well, just for obvious reasons.
I use a very light touch on the bottom, and I can't talk while I'm doing this.
Yeah. Now you've got your lashes back since you've been using the Eye Envy.
And I don't know if you have pictures of my non-existent eyelashes, but I have a much stronger lash line now with this stuff. And on the weekends, I often don't even wear mascara. I just use a little bit of my eyeliner to darken my lashes.
Yeah, yeah, you can do that for sure. That's when on the senior makeup look or no makeup days, I just use eyeshadow just to because my lashes are so gray and they've lost all their color. Using the just the eyeshadow will just give them a little bit of a take away that whitish look and give them a little bit of strength, you know, without any fuss at all.
And I think the other thing two other things. One is I could keep Q-tips in business.
Yeah.
And that's for a couple reasons. One is I don't want to cross-contaminate my eyeballs in case there's a problem. Two, like I made a little boo-boo there with my mascara. I can just touch that up with a tiny bit of powder. That's it. And then because I've been plagued with cold sores this fall, which tend to come out when I'm stressed or overly busy, which is pretty frequent, I use frankincense and peppermint oil. I'm just putting that on a little dab on that, on one that's just it's gone, but it just helps to heal it. And I have to stick away from lipstick, which is too bad, but that's it is what it is. And so I just use a straight petroleum jelly. And again,
On a Q-tip.
always on a Q-tip.
Yeah.
And I never stick my fingers in my eyes. I always use a Q-tip.
And you never have trouble with dry lips, do you? Unless you're having the cold sores.
But you know what? I'll be honest. Sometimes I get busy. I don't drink enough water. Right?
Water and Vaseline at night just makes a huge difference. Now you know that you can take a little bit of blush and add it to that Vaseline if you want.
And I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that. It just Not today.
Yeah, and with your dark hair too, having a lighter lip with your dark hair is fine. Now, if you were gray, you need some color to your
And then I
lips.
just, a little bit of white
Yeah,
right here
yeah.
and here and there and there.
Broadens the eyes. Beautiful, sis.
And the most important thing is, for me, some days I look and I go, oh crap, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Other days it's like, so it is what it is. And if I use the same technique, I know it generally looks the same.
Yes.
And I don't strive for perfection. I give myself permission to be the best I can
Exactly.
without beating myself up, because you know what? That is a heavy burden to carry.
Oh, yeah.
So that's me done. I just have to do my hair. And I have this tiny little bag because I'm traveling.
Yes, everything goes into it.
Every last little thing goes into it.
That palette is the godsend, though.
It's the bomb. And I just put a little elastic on it because I'm traveling right
Yeah.
now. So I put the elastic on just to make sure that it... Oh, that one doesn't go in there. I put a little elastic on it to make sure it doesn't open up.
So,
And that's
yeah,
my makeup.
Put it into the camera a little bit. Yeah, that's
It
perfect.
goes right into my purse. I don't even have to put it in my suitcase. So that's good. And then my lip care stuff in a little thing like that, because I might apply that later in the day.
That's it.
Just
Yeah,
a little.
or just a little.
And it snaps shut.
Yeah.
And in it I've got my all my little voodoo potions
Yeah.
for my lips.
Right.
And that goes in my purse as well. I've got a little tiny bit of garbage. That's it. I'm done.
Okay.
So now that you've seen the before and after, I defy any one of you to come to me and say I should not get up in the morning and spend 15 minutes looking my best. Makeup's worth it. It's doesn't have to be a huge instrumental thing, but it's taking that time to invest in yourself so that you can put your best face forward.